Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Join host Marco Torres, co-founder of MarketingBoost.com, along with expert guests as they deliver incredible, proven solutions to your marketing challenges in each power-packed episode. Captain Marco has guided thousands of entrepreneurs, growing their sales and marketing through the use of value-add incentives. His Facebook groups are home to more than 84,000 entrepreneurs who are raking in sales with his advice. Get ready to be blown away with game-changing lessons for your business.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Today, where we talk about ideas, tips, and talk to successful business owners, trying to bring you motivation and ideas on how to grow and scale your business. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Swire Ho. He's known as the promo guy, as well as being has his own he's the host of his own show, the Small Business Show podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about great tips and advice on how not only to use promotional products for your target audience, but also to then encourage that audience to indirectly become mini advocates for your product or service. One of his subject matters, of course, is picking the right audience and developing and picking out who is your perfect avatar. Some of his notable accomplishments include receiving the SCORE Award for Small Business Success, becoming the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce Ambassador of the Year. Additionally, he was named online as one of the best promo pros on social media and subject matter expert on promotional products in over 100 plus podcasts. Welcome, Mr. Swire Ho, to the show. Say hello.
Hey, how are you? Hi, Marcos. Thank you for having me on today.
My pleasure to have you, Swire. We're looking forward to talking about promos and how to use promo products and how to build, how to find your perfect client. So tell us about some of your background and how you've been on 100 plus podcasts as well. That's pretty impressive.
It's been a long journey. I think it's fun. A lot of times, especially when people think about our industry, they use the word swag, which stands for stuff we all get. So it's my goal to tell people that you don't have to give out swag. You could be very selective. And then, it could be fun. And, if you do it right, you actually get the result that you're looking for. So wanted to, represent the industry somehow. And that's why I go on podcasts. I could, talk to different experts like yourself for best use of, promotional products.
Great. Yeah, we're all ears on that. We have an audience, Swire, we have an audience of one of my Facebook groups owns over 30,000 entrepreneurs that use or have used the Marketing Boost incentive products. So we promote the idea of promotional products as well. And in our case, we're providing travel incentives that our members can use to enhance whatever their call to action is. And again, we also teach that idea, use them sparingly and appropriately, create scarcity and urgency when using these incentives to get people to take whatever action you're trying to get them to do, to take, to sign up for your newsletter, to buy a product or service, to stay till the end of your webinar, to, listen to your podcast. There's a million ideas, but let's get into some of the specifics that you've done for yourself or for your clients. How do you use them? And do you promote these to, do you have is that your business? You're absolutely helping business owners use promotional products?
Yeah, our client will come to us, sometimes when they attend a trade show, when they wanted to host an event. Sometimes it's for internal, for employees retention. So it's very interesting business. I get in contact with different companies, different campaigns, and sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's, really, they're trying to do some nice things for other people.
Awesome. Okay. Now you got into the business. You're immigrated to the United States. I forgot in your bio how many years ago you came to the United States, and you speak multiple languages, which is, I only have 2 down. I think I saw you speak about 4. Is that right? Remind me of that. What are the different languages?
I speak Cantonese and Mandarin and English. So it's almost 30 years now. So I actually live in the United States longer than I lived in Hong Kong. So it's kind on the both sides.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it's like me. I've been Mexican descendants, but grown all my life here in the United States and Puerto Rico. I grew up in Puerto Rico as well. But Swire, give us more, again, back to the subject of promotional products. How do you recommend companies use them, when, how, and for what kind of purpose?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the number one things that we get from client, like, what should we buy, right? They call like, what should we buy? And a lot of times they got taken back by my question in order to help them to search for the perfect item, right? Quote unquote. I asked them, who do you like to target? Like, who is your ideal client? And especially the most important that you have to answer yourself before purchasing promotional product. What are these gifts for? Marcos, you understand, right, with your business that you got to find the right call to action. You're offering something to the audience in return for something that you want them to do, right, to act on. A lot of time when people buy promotional product, they actually don't think like that. They think that we have a new logo. I just want a bunch of pants and flood the market. Everyone should see our logo. But to answer your question, maybe you care about your logo a lot, but people who receive it, do they really care about a pen with your logo?
That's a great question. Really, nobody's going to give a hoot about your logo, no matter how cool it is, right? So, how do you get the product? Why do I want to take your product? Well, in the first place, how much are you spending on the swag, to get something cool away? But more importantly, as I think you were talking about, how do you choose who to give it to? Because you don't need to spend a fortune on swag to everybody walking by your booth at the trade show. If you can find a way to get the right people to be picking up your swag and your products to make it memorable. So how do you go about targeting that right avatar in the first place? Especially, would you say trade shows is one of your specialties?
Trade show events, like, people want to make a brand awareness, but I think the reason why they don't want to answer that question, sometimes they don't like to answer the question, is the fear of missing out. They think that if I am hosting the event, I'm paying all kinds of money and I'm going to trade show, I want to target everyone. But if you talk to a seasoned professional or someone that is good in sales and business development, you don't want everyone. Not everyone will be your client. So by telling me more about who you like to target, and especially, for everyone listening, these are people who pay a lot of money. And these are people who are your power customers. They buy a lot from you all in and there. There gotta be a persona. There gotta be certain characteristics for the person. Is it a certain title in their company? Do they like to do a certain things? The more that you could tell me about what they like, I have access to over 10,000 products. You don't need to see all 10,000 products. You just have to give me the instruction of who they are. Then we could filter down to find, quote unquote, the perfect item. So I think by having a conversation, by having a client really do open up to me and tell me more about who they're trying to target, then I could do my job better, instead of I need to focus on everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so for example, if I'm going to a trade show and I'm targeting business owners in the digital space that are advertising online, and they are typically in the home improvement business. They're solar companies or roofing companies or some sort of home improvement business owner they serve homeowners, and I serve those business owners. Now, in my case, I serve a lot more verticals than that with Marketing Boost. But one of the verticals that we do that does very well with our incentives are the solar companies, home improvement companies, roofers, floor installs, and so on, and that are advertising online to consumers, and they're using Facebook and Google ads and what have you. So if that was my audience and I was at a trade show, how would you be guiding me as to what products, what additional promo items I might want to have at my trade show?
So that's a very good question, Marcos. And I think a lot of people think about the actual gift, but they don't pay too much attention on the experience. What do I mean by that? When we go to a trade show, obviously, if it's industry specific, your competitor are probably likely going to be there. And when you go to a big trade show, we're talking about sometimes thousands of vendors, like people get really overwhelmed, right? Information overload, right? So the booth that we, think about our experience, right? When we walk on a trade show booth, what kind of booth do we like to walk in versus other? Like when you see two guys crossing their arms, like staring at you, you probably walk away, right?
Yeah.
You want to go to a booth with a lot of people, right? You want to see people that are having engaging conversation. A lot of times they will have some sort of video, or they will have a lot of time they have to spin the wheel. And that's something that are very low cost that I would suggest my client to do if you attend trade show at least a couple of times a year. Have to spin the wheel, maybe cost you 150 to 200. When we hear that sound when we walk in a trade show, we look right away. Where is that? Where is that? I want that thing.
Somebody's getting ready to win something. Yeah.
And I think the gift is not the most important point. Back to your question, Marcos. The way that you want is you want to qualify your buyer and you want to capture the lead. Depending on your business, and you might be lucky to get one or two sell on the spot, but as you know, it takes time to build up the relationship. They might not know who your companies are. You might take a few conversations for people to actually seriously engage with you in the product. So by having more people circling around your booth, then you become the booth to visit. And by having an engaging product, then you can actually, the smart way to do is while people are lining up, you actually have one of the representatives to qualify the people. If you have categorized your ideal client, ask them a few questions to see if they're qualified to become your client. And you have to remember again, not everyone can be a client. So then your gift can be two ways. One, really, you could, if you're nice, you could give everyone a gift to tag along, maybe a simple tote bag or a pen, really. But if you think that person is qualified to become a good client of yours, then you got to capture the information or have them talk to maybe a manager on the back of the booth to really incentivize to make that call to action, maybe book the call or maybe schedule a follow-up meeting. So then you could present them with the nicer gift. So don't give everyone the nice gift. And you could actually have two tiers, one with everyone, if you like, one with the qualified one. So that's would be my approach, and to guide my client to find the right product that they need.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. I've had a lot of members of ours, add to that spin the wheel you're talking about. That's one of the powers of what Marketing Boost brings to the table, because you can add these high value, perceived value gifts, such as complimentary 5-night hotel stay in Cancun, Hawaii, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas. So several of the prizes on the wheel could be 3 nights in Las Vegas, whatever, plus the swag or some other big, swag items that they can literally potentially win and take away something tangible on the spot, as well as the travel incentives or hotel savings cards or restaurant savings vouchers. Speaking of that, let's take a minute to break for our sponsor, marketingboost.com. That'll be, sponsors this show, and we'll be right back. Hang on, folks.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
Welcome back to the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast show, where we are interviewing and talking with Mr. Swire Ho, an expert on promotional products for both online and offline, how to use them at trade shows and many other ways. We're also talking about how Marketing Boost incentives can be plugged into those trade shows as well. So welcome back. Say hello, Mr. Swire Ho, once again.
Yeah, thanks. I loved a lot of conversation so far.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things that I've got that comes to mind, and I have him scheduled for an interview coming up shortly. For example, I've got one of my clients does gun shows, and he works the gun show circuit throughout the state of Florida. And similar to a trade show, all of his competitors are at these gun shows, and they all sell the exact same product. Now, however you feel about guns or not, it's another story. But the point of my story here is, in his case, I mean, everybody's selling the exact same black guns. You know, they've all got Glocks, they all got this gun, that gun, that gun. And so basically, most of them are very similar. And so now they're competing on price mostly, and maybe, you know, warranties or service, but there's not much more than, you know, the gun is a gun is a gun, and they're all made by the same manufacturers. So what does he do to stand out from the crowd? Well, he's got these huge banner ads, you know, and posters, and he offers, you know, buy any firearm from us at the gun show and get a complimentary hotel stay on us. So that's an example of a standing out from the crowd at a trade show, and we'll talk to him on the next, I think the upcoming podcast we'll be having next week. But anyway, back to other trade show products. You say you represent 10,000 different promotional products, Mr. Swire Ho. Tell us more about success stories on how you or your clients have used promotional products to acquire clients and grow.
I think I want to use the client that you just mentioned, Marcos, for the gun show. So to go beyond, you know, what they're doing for the client, what they would do is, you know, we're talking about the ambassador part. So obviously for the lucky winner who are able to go on their vacation, they will be really thrilled, right? They will be happy to be on their vacation. They will be taking all kinds of pictures. What if they have something that they present to them to enhance their vacation? For example, if they're going to the beach, what if they send them a care package with beach towels, with slippers that are branded with their logo? So while they're taking a picture to send it to their friends, they actually dress in the company's gear, you know, subtly on there. So you're actually creating brand ambassador. You know, think about all the influencer that kind of subtly using other companies' product in the feed. You can actually do that to enhance it, and they will coach them to how they should mention while they're staying on vacation. Because we were visited this gun show, and we're the lucky winner because we bought from this company. So we can actually create a lot of call to action, a lot of digital and physical campaign based on that. So by knowing your client, knowing where they're going to go to, and then knowing how they're going to use your product, you can actually give them something to enhance it. In return, people are going to post on social media without you even asking them.
I like that. So whatever, you're adding the promotional products with your brand logo, and maybe, you know, if you were using a marketing boost incentive, giving them a complimentary hotel stay. Once they've activated there, you may say, you know, when you activate this travel certificate and choose dates, let us know, so we want to ship you. That way, you know, you're only sending it to the people that are, you know, actually going to go on that trip. And then that's when you send them the care package with some you know, maybe some skin tan lotion or what have you, and a towel or a hat with your brand on it.
Yeah.
And maybe you ask them, please take this along with you on your trip. And if you would post a, you know, photograph with wearing our you know, our photo and film or what have you of your trip wearing our branded logos, we would be greatly appreciated, or what have you. Throw, you know, some other, just asking for, if you ask, you shall receive. You know, if you don't ask, I mean, people might do it anyway, but if you gave them those that care package and then asked them to please post to let the rest of the world know that they won their trip thanks to your firm and so on, they're probably willing to put on some branded materials and do it. We never thought of that. We should have done that ourselves. We used to, the way we built Marketing Boost in the first place, it actually came about exactly like we're talking about. When we first launched Marketing Boost, we were looking for ways to get people to give us more video testimonials for another travel website that we had. So we have another travel website, very popular, but we wanted video reviews. And so we were asking people, look, if we finally came up with the idea, because nobody would do it. We would ask them when we got very few, but when we threw in a bonus trip, we said, if you'll film a selfie video from the beach, the resort, the pool, the bar, and brag about that hotel and brag about our brand, we'll reward you with a complimentary hotel stay on us. And we started getting, well, we now have over 30,000 video reviews on that website alone with that idea. And that's how Marketing Boost was born. But we never thought of the idea of mailing them a care package as well to get them to film that selfie testimonial from the resort, beach, or what have you, while wearing a Book VIP hat or one of the the brands from those travel sites. That would have worked really well.
Yeah,
But,
I really enjoy our conversation, Marco. It's like a big brainstorming session with you now. So, and I pay attention to the industry. Next time when you fly first class, look at people who wear a jacket on the plane. How many of them are logo products? How many of them are wearing logo that are from other companies? So chances are they're all wearing logo products. So these products do get carried along. And if you send people the right product, you can actually get into places that you never thought of doing. And I wanted to, congratulate you, Marcos, by doing that. What you actually are doing is you're creating a customer's journey. A lot of companies that we talk to, they spend a lot of money, right, to get the customer in, to get the foot in the door, right? But after they purchase it, they don't never call them. They just let them go. But that's the time where they're most loyal to you, when they first use your product and services, when they first finish the project for them, right? They actually are going to tell more people about you if you actually coach them and do something nice for them. These are something that, like in your case, Marcos, you getting a video testimonial. People pay thousands of dollars for that, but by prepping them to the right way, if we are doing a good job for you, would you mind to go on camera to tell others about your experience? We truly appreciate that. You can actually prep them before you actually do your work for them. So when you finish, you follow up, make sure that they're happy with what you do. And sometimes people just don't care, right? When there's something small sometimes that you could fix. For example, my food is too cold, or maybe you didn't reply the way that I wanted. Fix it right away. And you don't want them to wait until they get angry and go on review site to badmouth about you. Something small, fix it. So if you know that they're happy, and then go for us, we really appreciate if you wanted to do a testimonial or your call to action for the client to get you a referral, maybe to write a review for you. Then it's a good time to ask. So you actually plan for it from the beginning to the end, and don't stop there. You actually have to ask for that referral. In your business, do you happen to know a friend or colleague or family members that could also benefit from a product and service? Would you mind giving me a name for those people? Then this becomes a cycle, right? So it never stops. Then it's always cheaper to retain a client than to go out there to find a new one. So I just wanted to, I know I talk a lot and throw a lot of concept in there, but think about how do you actually make a journey from the beginning to way past yourselves.
No, I like that. And and people forget, business owners or their staff, or the business owner is not constantly promoting it down to getting the staff to take action of asking for whatever it is you could use more of. I mean, if you need to be asking for referrals, and you all should be, then you need to come up with the system and automate it if possible to ask for those referrals. When you're providing support, ask your support team if once you've provided them the support, the customer service support, if you've satisfied the client, that's the time to ask for a testimonial. Ask them, or have we satisfied your request here, yada yada. Do you mind if I send you a link to post a review about how I did, and that kind of thing. And because we all need the social proof, whatever business you're in, and if you're not generating fresh, constant social proof, testimonials, videos, Google My Business reviews, Facebook reviews. And one of the things, to give you an idea, speaking of that subject, one of the things that we do with Automation Booster, which is another one of our sponsors on this show, is we teach and help you set up automated systems to make sure you're inviting guests to post reviews for you on Google My Business. And then what we also recommend doing is throttling them, throttling the reviews to SiteJabber, to Trustpilot, to Shopper Approved, to Google My Business, to Facebook. And so as you're requesting reviews, what we recommend is you request them to different third-party review websites, so that as Google sees those reviews coming in to SiteJabber, to Trustpilot, to Shopper Approved, to Facebook, to Google My Business, it's almost forcing all of those, when people search your business, your name, your brand, that those reviews are going to end up popping up. And the way we go about doing it, we have tens of thousands of reviews on some of our different travel sites, and including Redeem Vacations that fulfills the vacations for the Marketing Boost incentives. Speaking of that, before we move on, let's take another quick break for a commercial from Automation Booster, and we'll be right back, folks. Hang with us.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
Welcome back to the Marketing Boost Solutions Show, and thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. We're here speaking to Mr. Swire Ho, his expertise is product promos, or promotional products rather, use online, offline, trade shows, etc. Perfect fit in for the Marketing Boost products as well. And so we're back to Mr. Swire. Tell us more, Mr. Swire, on ideas, solutions with product promotions.
Marcos, why do you think that people think promotional product don't work? Like, from what you hear from your community, what stopped people from purchasing promotional product? I want to hear from you.
I think often they think that they're gimmicky, or it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to get people to get off the fence to take action. So they find it difficult to believe that whatever promotional product or incentive product is actually going to work to help people to choose them over somebody else. So that's, I think, one of the biggest fears, the doubts, or the just, don't visualize that working.
Well, I like that. I think that's a really valid point, right? The goals for promotional product is another tools, right? For Marketing Boost, for the incentive for travel, there's a tool, right? It doesn't necessarily have you close the deal, but it's certainly a tool that people are more aware and to do the call to action that you have. Google Ad is another tool, right? When you do a nice website, it's another tool. Promotional product, think about that. It's another tools that we have. In marketing, we said a customer needs to see 7 touch points in order for them to take actions. Maybe a billboard, maybe they visit your trade show booth, maybe they talk to your rep. These are all different tools that are available. So in promotional product, there's a brand awareness. You might give out a promotional product. It didn't happen. For example, you talk about home services, right? In our, before the break, in solar, I might not be ready to go for solar today, but when I really see my bills in the summer with my AC, then I'm ready. So who would they call, right? They go online again? What if you have an item that could fit into the homeless life, and the people will see the first name? So these are, think of promotional product as top of mind. Think of people, that people see day in, day out. If I say the word coffee, if I say mattresses, if I say luxury watches, we already have a brand in our name, and we don't know why, but we have a certain name that we are glued to be an expert for the industry. So people spend a lot of money to remind them to be top of mind. So I think in your industry, you got to think where people will likely encounter your brand and your products. So, and that's where you decided what item to buy. And you, again, don't randomly buy items just to flood the market to have brand awareness.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you carry a product like this, but I've just met, that reminds me of a conversation I had with a very successful realtor the other day. and she coaches hundreds of realtors that work with her. One of the key things she teaches all of her staff to do when they're meeting people, when they're doing door-to-door canvassing or communities or what have you, is they give a refrigerator magnet with the realtor's photo and name and phone number with a shopping list. So it's big enough to have like a shopping list, a space on it with a magic marker, so that you can use any kind of a magic eraser type of pen. And I don't know how it works, I guess, but it's a magnet, and people can write down, hey, we need another, we need more milk, we need more peanut butter, we need more jelly or whatever. And so as people, if they get in the habit of using that refrigerator list, they're always seeing that realtor name on there. And whether it's next year, next month, 6 years from now, when they're ready to buy, sell, rent, invest, they're seeing their, every time they go to the refrigerator, they're thinking of that branded realtor. And it's a great way to stay relevant and stay in front of your client.
I love that. Speaking of real estate market, would you like me to tell you about $1 million promotional product idea in the real estate industry?
Oh, please.
So we work with a realtor, and whenever that they close, we're in Los Angeles, by the way. So, houses are pricey, right? So every time that he closed a property, he would send the client 6 bottles of wine. And he actually doesn't put his logo on it. What he would do, he would take a picture of the house, and he will actually use the house to print as a custom label. So this will serve as the housewarming gift for the client. So when the client, they're really happy, they move in their dream home, right? So they invite new neighbors and their old neighbors to for housewarming party, and they break the wine. So, and people will, they can't help but notice who gave you that wine. And then that realtor's name got passed around because they're having a conversation. People are drinking wine, they start talking. That's how he's able to use those wine to generate $1 million of sales for property. So yes, it's not a cheap gift, but you sold a house, and you actually wanted to get promotional product so your brand or your name get talked about. And this is a great way to get the name recognition because of the wine that he's giving to the client.
That's really cool. And so they can order the private labeled wine labels or what have you on a bottle of wine. And so it doesn't matter how good the wine is, it's the label that counts.
Yeah, and then he's not selling himself. He actually, known the client, and that's, people like to receive that. People are really proud. I just bought a house, right? I'm obviously love enjoying the home, and by having people's interest in mind. So that's why this is a very successful promotional product campaign.
I love it. I love it. So wonderful. Well, how do people find you, Swire? What would people do to find you? And how do you help people with your promotional product service?
Thank you, Marcos. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you find and go to LinkedIn, and happy to connect with everyone. And I think we should talk about that too, Marcos. You said the online presence, right? So if you search for the word Swire Ho #promo guy, you'll see all the works that I've done, podcast appearances that I've been to. And I encourage everyone, when you're listening to this show, Google your name and see what comes up. So are there things that you want your prospect to see, or are there things that you're not so proud of, but they're still online? So I think for having a good online reputation is very important. And I try to do my best to keep the relevant content. And especially when people Google your name, and people would, right after your meeting with a prospect, I'm sure the next thing they will do is Google your company, and they will Google you. What will come up? Are those topics that you talk about online relevant to your particular industry? Or are they going to see you eating somewhere, having lunch, or you going vacation? Is it really industry related? So think about that. And if you like, I do have a show that I stream on LinkedIn every week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, called The Small Business Show. And thank you so much, Marco. I really enjoy our conversation today.
No, that's a great point. And almost anybody in business ought to be aspiring to have their own podcast show or being invited as guests on as many podcast shows like you have, Swire. I've seen you on many. I was on over 100 shows last year alone. So I'm a firm believer in doing that. Get your word out. That eventually means when people, do search your name, your brand, all of these different things are going to start popping up and appearing, and you're going to be seen as the authority and the expert. One of the ways in business today to get your word out, which without spending a lot of money, is to work on getting yourself invited as a guest speaker on as many shows as possible. Eventually, maybe launching your own podcast and YouTube channel. I mean, there's many outlets, but that's one great way to go to get your story out and build your business. Mr. Swire Ho, thank you so much for being on the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. We know that your time is super valuable. Hopefully you can take away some insights, some tips, some exciting motivation on building your business. And my last words to you is stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.